if you're familiar with my content, you know I take a particular issue with grievance studies, African American studies, the like gender studies, all of these other studies that that is academia for people who like to make shit up, basically. and I don't know. And hold on, before you jump down my throats in the comments. It's not just make shit. I'm talking about make up the problems, not make up like the history and stuff like that. Because I do believe there's space for it in museums, but when it comes to taxpayer funds to give professors tenure and get all these different degrees and doctorates, there is just way too much incentive and just rolling with bullshit, okay? I'm sorry, but that's your truth. And speaking of such, hi, Dr. West. What's going on? Dr. Cornell West. Oh my goodness, one of the most articulate men to ever grace this great nation. And he's on CNN ultimately giving license to the to the chaos. There's a lot of people throwing Dr. King's terms around about the right is the voice of the people. Here's the thing, he said that so long ago, and our government is so slick. The powers that be, those who are of a higher class, bred higherly than you or I, they figured out a way around it. They really did. Like here in Jersey, in Newark, where we had one of the initial riots. The mayor was protesting the government, Still, it's hilarious. Like the government's protesting the government. What part of the game? If the government is in on your protest, I think you might have a little bit of a problem. But either ways, he's on CNN, and we're gonna do what I do, just because I really want to respect the gentleman, right? But at the same time, he's a part of the problem. Let's go.
George, where it is so clear it is a lynching at the highest level. Nobody can deny it.
I'm not denying it. I'm saying, don't lynchings involve the rope? I mean, it's the neck. So is it the neck thing that makes it a lynching, or do you need that's not denying it. I'm just like, because everybody just throws that word lynching around, like with the Ahmaud Arbery. They were like, oh my goodness, he was lynched. No, he was shot. So I'm just curious. And secondly, let's just keep going.
And I thank God that we have people in the streets. Can you imagine this kind of lynching taking place and people are indifferent? People don't care?
And that's the thing. We made it. Did we do it, America? Oh shit! This is great, fantastic. We made it. Everyone cares. Everyone's like, yo, this is messed up. I have yet to see anyone to be like, yo, wait, no, this is perfectly fine. Like, literally no one. I mean, there's been a couple of comments, but you guys, I know who my trolls are. So it's like, did we do it? Did we make it? Did we win? Everyone cares. Everyone's upset. How in the hell does that give anyone the right to destroy somebody else's property, somebody else's livelihood, somebody else's way of life, and cause as much destruction and damage as is taking place? I'm curious on this.
People are callous. You have just a few people out there with signs. I recall the moments in which during the Reagan years, there was a few of us out there. In the 60s, you had masses out there. Now you've got a younger generation of all of these different colors and genders and sexual orientations.
All believe in the same thing in socialism, and how and basically ignoring all of that struggle that you guys put in back during the Reagan years to carry on as if there's no one cares. Because that's not the case. It hasn't been the case. So, and people have tried. Like in Newark, one of the things that was blowing my mind about them having a protest is like, yo, you have the CCRB. It's completely toothless and does absolutely nothing. But I mean, you have your one gesture, so that's a part of the reason why I'm like, if you're gonna protest, I thought there may be riot, because you already had something that went through and is just thoroughly ineffective. But yeah, there's this with all these different people who are like, oh my goodness, George Floyd, George Floyd, George Floyd. It's not about him. You know, when it comes to Black Lives, when Black Lives Matter, the last thing Black Lives Matter is about is Black lives. If they were, then they'd answer that what happened to Darren Seal's question. I did a video on it a really long time ago that I might link in the description about an organizer who was found dead in his car after Black Lives Matter, after he really questioned their motives and say, hey, there's a whole lot of alphabetical stuff going on. And yeah, body my man. So was really this seems like the opportunism more than really caring about what's going on in these communities. And that's the way it's always, that really feels the way it's always been. They just see an opportunity to say, oh my god, to mess stuff up, because you know how wild Black Americans are, right? You know how crazy descendants are, huh?
Saying we won't take it any longer. But you know what's sad about it though, brother? At the deepest level, it looks as if the system cannot reform itself. We've tried black faces in high places. Too often our black politicians, professional class, middle class, become too accommodated to the capitalist economy, too accommodated to the militarized nation state, too accommodated to
Accommodated too. We got them running it, man. We got a darker skinned attorney general right now. I mean, one thing about Trump, he has not discriminated at any one of the fun things I like to do is when people sit there and talk about, oh, he's racist. I ask them, and I'm very direct about this on purpose. Name one instance of the man touting racial superiority or inferiority. I'll wait. Every time gets him every time, because he's been oh yeah, diversity, sure, why not? If you qualify for the job, go get him.
The market-driven culture tied with celebrity status, power, fame, all of that superficial stuff that means so much to so many fellow citizens. And what happens? What happens is we got a neo-fascist gangster in the White House who really...
Wow. Just wow. Really? But that's why he's on CNN, isn't it? Like, oh gosh, trust me, I know my first mistake was CNN, but like, this is what is presented as the pinnacle of Black intellect, as or Black thought. Like, this is a thought leader, like, and not THOT, but THOGHT. Seriously, this is ridiculous.
It doesn't care for the most part. You got a neoliberal wing of the Democratic Party that is now in the driver's seat with the collapse of Brother Bernie, and they don't really know what to do, because all they want is show more black faces, show more black faces. But oftentimes these black faces are losing legitimacy too, because the black...
Yeah, because, they're wrong. They're blatantly wrong, as are you. You sitting there talking about, oh yeah, well, we have such evil xenophobic fascists and white. Dude, come on, yo, kill the noise, bruh. Kill the noise. I want all of these folks to just cut it right the fuck out. Cause you don't like if you really cared, these a lot of our families would be way better off. You know what I'm saying? Like our policies and laws would be geared towards, having strong families, as opposed to, nah, girl, you don't need no man, that whole fun jig. But that's the thing, you're so they're all so thoroughly invested. Like I've said on this channel multiple times, when somebody's paycheck is relying on them believing something, then damn it, good luck on getting them not to believe it.
Lives Matter movement emerged under a black president, black attorney general, and black homeland security, and they couldn't deliver, you see?
Couldn't or wouldn't is the better question. I think that's a part of the reason why. Oh, you had a mayor out there marching with protests as if he has no power whatsoever when you're a mayor. Bro, it is, and it really does show not the systematic problem, just the fact that all of these areas, all of these communities, they're brought and paid for. All of these politicians are purchased off top. So yeah, we like, oh yeah, make no mistake, we're screwed. But to sit here and pretend as if, oh yeah, well, white supremacy has done this and this is something that falls on in any way on Trump, who got there 3 years ago. That's one of the things that I saw that really pissed me off, is how everybody, like the second Trump got into office, all of these black mayors who had been in office longer than Trump were sitting there talking about, oh my goodness, Trump's so terrible, Trump's so bad, he's the cause of all of our problems. My dude, what are you talking about? Like, you've been here this entire time. If you want, you can set any policy you so desire. Deal is that you better play ball, nigga. You better play ball. And I mean that very, very harshly, as harshly as I mean it, because that's the reality of the scenario. And guess what? That word comes in all different colors.
People, the precious poor and working class black people, poor and working class brown, red, yellow, whatever color, they're the ones who are left out, and they feel so thoroughly powerless, helpless, hopeless. Then you get rebellion. And we've reached a point now, it's a choice between nonviolent revolution, and by revolution what I mean is the democratic sharing of power, resources, wealth, and respect.
Okay, so the deal is that power, resources, and wealth, this was all done back in the 60s. You know, a lot of lines were drawn with that Civil Rights Act, my guy. And if you want to redraw those lines, it has to come from like I say, it has to come at that local level. You can't sit here and look at the feds when you got so many different layers on top, like underneath it. You got to start at that lowest level. You can't sit there and be like, oh, well, federal government, I demand you to do all this, without going towards the locals and the like.
We don't get that kind of sharing, you're going to get more violent explosions. Now, the sad thing is, in this neo-fascist moment in the White House, you've got some neo-fascist brothers and sisters out there who are already armed. They show up there at the U.S. Capitol, and they don't get arrested. They don't get put down. Well, that's the president.
And they aren't having Antifa amongst them, like, burning the world down. So it's such a disingenuous position to have. Or, like, I mean, I don't want to sit here and I'm not going to insult the man's intelligence and make it seem as if he doesn't know these things. That's like really where the whole, intelligence part comes into play, because it's about what you know in the moment. And unfortunately, it's like they're always steps behind.
The extraordinary thing.
You see what I mean?
You have these white weekend warriors showing up as if they're former special forces ops when they're not, busting into the State House, and the president praises those people, and yet everybody else is a thug to the president.
Those people didn't burn cities to the ground, Anderson. This is why the feminine minded. This is why once you get a dude up in you, I'm telling you, I would love for scientists to figure this out, because you just become a lot more feminine minded, and thusly not looking to take things to a rational place, but you're just far more emotional, because, as men, we leave our DNA in everything that we enter, sirs. So the deal is that it apparently helps with the feminine's hormones, right? I'm just saying.
Quotes, a white sheriff from the South in, I guess it was 67 or maybe 68. I mean, if you wrote that in a movie, people would say there's no way the president of the United States would quote a Southern sheriff on the night that a great city in this country is seeing, people.
As I say on this channel all the time, it's all about how you decide to interpret things. He's decided to take offense, but sir, that is how you decide. How you interpret things is a very personal choice that you make. So, don't ask the rest of us to be like, oh my goodness, oh, he quoted some general that, who cares? I really don't. Like, he probably did it on purpose because he knew. Like, that's the thing about, like, okay, we all know that Trump's a troll, and the thing is that your troll lives for the reaction. So you're playing, like, you guys love playing directly into his hands. This is so ridiculous and redundant. But let's keep going.
The streets. I mean,
That's exactly right. But keep in mind,
and
though, brother,
also, I guess
he
the
is
thing
being
that
true to
go ahead.
himself. He's being true to himself. He's saying what he really
Well, that's for
feels
sure.
in his soul.
And what's wrong with that? Because that's the thing. Thugs does not have any type of racial connotation, because me personally, I know plenty of white thugs. So the deal is that he said thugs. You guys, your racism, your inherent bias, your racism is drawing it out of it. Like that's the thing. He says things real vanilla, and you decide, yeah, I'm going to sprinkle all these different flavors on top of it. And honestly, it is pretty funny to watch. And unless, you live in these areas where people are getting just destroyed.
You see what I mean? But see, we have to recognize too, because I know, like Tupac Shakur, I got some thug in me. I know I've got some gangster in me.
God, he's been rotting that one picture. Like, there's this picture of Cornell West where he was, he was at a protest and he'd gotten arrested, and Bill Maher, like, made a big deal out of it. So now he's like, yeah, I'm a G, son. I'm a G. What up, bro? Let's go get in these streets, son. Let's run around. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, let's get nuts, man. Let's go put some work out here on these streets. Cornell West. All right, bro. Like, yo, let's go get a couple birds. Let's flip them. You know what I mean? Let's go out and earn. Come on, bro.
As a Christian, I got to fight it every day. What does that mean? That means we have to call people who they are. A neo-fascist thug in the White House calls my brothers and sisters in the street thugs. So,
and you just called him a thug. Like, you hear how emotional this is? He's just so emotional, and and that's what they're all feeding off of over there on CNN. This is why they the problem. It's all emotion, no logic. So what? He said the word thug. Who cares? A thug is a thug. It is what it is. From a Machine Gun Kelly. If he was walking down the street, right? When you're like, oh, that's a thug or a wigger or something like that. But either way, or Eminem. We all saw 8 Mile. Would you or would you not describe Eminem as a thug, or or having thuggish behavior? I'm just saying, like to sit here and just draw all this emotion off of it is why you fail, CNN. This is why you fail.
So then the question becomes, how do we keep alive moral, spiritual standards, keep alive, stand in contact with the humanity of all of us across the board, but...
Okay, so if you want to stay in humanity with all of us across the board, do you want to stay in humanity with even the cops and that's the thing about humanity, kind of it lends itself to just all of us human beings. If you agree with them or not, it doesn't. But humanity isn't particularly partisan, doesn't have an agenda. It's just, hey, yeah, we're here, we're breathing, and got to make the best out of this life thing. And unfortunately, the blue team has gone out of its way to make life harder for everyone else, particularly in the current quote unquote situation. Which, if in 2 weeks, and I said this in another video too, in 2 weeks, if people aren't just going, just dropping off the face of the earth, you know what? Y'all played us. Y'all played us hard. I ain't wearing a mask nowhere again for nothing.
Recognizing we're living in a moment of massive economic, with this capitalist economy, failure when it comes to delivering the needs. The nation state.
And what have you done other than running your mouth, Cornell? Because everything you done running your mouth about ain't helped nothing. The manufacturing now went away. The turning of laws, the destruction of the family courts. Where you been, bruh? These things, these problems do have solutions if you're willing to at least think about it. And I'm not saying anything that I say is a guaranteed knock out of the park home run solution, but it's a try. It's an attempt. Yeah, help me out. That's what I have a comment section for. Let me know.
failure to protect. Criminal justice system, failure to be fair, you see. And the only response we have is Samuel Beckett, my brother. Try again, fail better. Try again, fail better. Because white...
Just gibberish. It's just word salad. It's just word salad. And it's the same nonsense. It's the same, get your words back on that plantation, boy. Stuff that, it's such a turnoff. It really is. It's so disheartening. But, I think we're done here because it's just... All right, old folks, y'all keep listening to these people because they say a song that you remember from a long time ago. All the internet stuff. If you like to toss it, like, dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. And you want to get videos like this every single day. Share because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fan of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know what do you guys think in the comments. Cornell West is a part of the problem. You are all a part of the problem, but you may disagree. That's what I have a comment section for. And until the next one.